You are listening to another segment of the Think Tank. And now your host, Brock Lawley.
Even if I was hypothetically say, even if I did go down the path of, you know what, I just don't believe in God. I can tell you, not just because of my upbringing, I'm still going to hold myself to the values of Judeo-Christian law. An atheist can be ethical. I won't even get into that argument, but I'm still going to lead my life by those rules.
When I made videos about this, I would argue all moral capital, all right and wrong absolute, just borrowed biblical capital. I mean, what else are these standards coming from? I do believe that atheists can be moral, but I think that they're moving on the momentum of society's moral capital, which is built upon Ten Commandments, different laws, they're universal and moral laws. A red and tooth and claw Darwinian world has absolutely no standard for why I shouldn't cut the throat out of a guy just for the jokes of it. And the Romans proved that to be true, and various times in history, men did that. Yeah, there's times in history when men did not conduct themselves in that way. I would argue that you're operating that way because society has a momentum and it's sort of a faint biblical law that it operates. Now atheists are driven crazy by that, but I want you to show me in Mother Nature. I want you to show me in just the material world where this moral law comes from, because every single day I see hawks sweeping down and killing everything. I mean, I don't know what they're talking about. What world are they living in?
There is no moral law in nature. Nature is kill or be killed, raise your young, and procreate, and survival of the fittest. That's the way it's always been. It's always going to be. Instinct. We have instinct, but we have instinct plus God-given.
We have conscience.
We have conscience. We have God-given morals. We have ethics. And when people
we have a soul. We have a soul.
Yeah.
That's what we have. Right.
So when people say, "Oh, I can be an atheist and be moral," well, who is giving you your moral law? Without an outside objective viewpoint, you can't subjectively give yourself morals, because at that point it's a survival instinct. It's an opinion which can change.
Absolutely.
What do people say? Well, it's moral to have 15 wives and kill your neighbor if they look the wrong way.
And that's where we're going, by the way. It's a side note. And your case is literally being made on the front pages of the New York Times every day.
You're
right.
If you don't have some outside objective viewpoint, you have your current desires. You have the current people in power, their opinions. What they want will be law. And
that's right.
It will always be changing. We've seen this in communists, in socialists.
That's absolutely true. The pages of history are abundantly clear on that. Yeah.
Exactly. Ancient empires, the Egyptians and the Romans, people would change the laws as it was convenient to them at the time and what they wanted.
And a lot of people would die, by the way. Just as a side note, a lot of people would die. Stalin, Mao, Chavez. I mean, all this stuff is what happens when men just decide what morals are based upon who's in power.
I'm going to ask you a question. Do you see people as, some of the YouTube atheists and the atheist crowd in general, do you see them, I don't want to say childish and selfish, but at the same point, I want to say that. So there's no real better term to put it. It's self-centered. They say,
no, that is. It's a religion of self-worship. That's exactly what it is. It doesn't mean that there's not good atheists by way of behavior. It doesn't mean that there's not bad Christians. But that is what it is. It's the love of self. C.S. Lewis has this amazing analogy where he talks about hell in this really cool way, which I've always thought was a better way to describe it. But what hell actually is, in Lewis's mind, this is a whole other conversation when you judge God's word. But Lewis says, what hell is just yourself compounded on yourself, compounded on yourself, compounded on yourself, till the ends of eternity without any God. What man is an evil creature, and when left alone to his own vices, he will compound and compound and compound, and that darkness in man will become, there's all these brilliant stories about this, like Lord of the Rings, where darkness compounds on darkness, to where the soul, like Gollum and Voldemort and all these different characters, it's self-consuming. So your actual hell is a cage locked from the inside.
You are listening to the Atheist Antidote Show.